He was one of the most beloved actors in the world until everything flipped. And now, he calls himself a crash test dummy for the entire #MeToo movement. But what did he really mean by that? And who betrayed him when he needed them most? Johnny Depp is back in the headlines, not just for his comeback films, but for a brutally honest confession that's got Hollywood talking again. From public silence to private betrayals and a life of self-imposed exile, this is not the Johnny Depp the world remembers. So what really happened behind the scenes, and is he ready to take back his place in Hollywood? Johnny Depp didn't just vanish from the spotlight. He was erased, bit by bit, as headlines, accusations, and whispers filled the silence that followed his fall from grace. And now, years later, he's breaking that silence with one of the most striking admissions we've heard yet. In a rare interview, Depp called himself a crash test dummy for the #MeToo movement. Not a symbol, not a warning, a human test subject for a system still figuring out how to handle public allegations. He didn't name names, he didn't lash out, but the message was clear. He felt the full weight of judgment long before the facts could catch up. In his own words, "I was pre-Me Too. I was like a crash test dummy. I took it all in." What he's describing isn't just cancel culture. It's the moment when Hollywood, friends, and the world hit pause and let him burn. The most painful part wasn't the accusations. It was the people who vanished when he needed them most. And that's where the story gets even darker. Behind closed doors, Johnny Depp wasn't just fighting accusations. He was watching his closest allies quietly walk away. Friends, collaborators he'd worked with for decades, people who once cheered him on from red carpets and accepted awards by his side, suddenly went silent. In the interview, Depp doesn't hold back. He describes the betrayal as death by confetti, 1,000 small cuts from the people he thought would never turn. One of the most shocking moments? A 30-year business relationship shattered when a longtime agent testified against him in court. No warning, no explanation, just gone. It wasn't just painful, it was humiliating. A man who once had Hollywood at his fingertips suddenly became a cautionary tale, not for what he did, but for what others were afraid to say. And while they were protecting their image, he was losing everything. But the fallout didn't stop with broken trust. It followed him into every room, every city, every conversation. Johnny Depp isn't just reflecting on his fall, he's calling out the world that let it happen. In his own words, today's culture feels like a parade of fakery, where people say what they think will keep them safe, not what they truly believe. He described it as a world obsessed with podunk Iowa television, cookie-cutter content, loud opinions, and no real conviction behind any of it. His tone? Frustrated, but focused. He's not attacking the idea of justice, but questioning a system that lets public opinion do the sentencing long before facts are settled. People wanted to be on the right side of things, he said, so they stayed quiet. Or worse, they joined the pile-on. And when he looks at the rise of woke behavior in Hollywood, he doesn't hold back. To him, it's not about progress, it's about self-preservation. He sees it as a performance, a culture that rewards fear, silence, and betrayal disguised as morality. Whether you agree with him or not, one thing is clear: Depp isn't trying to win anyone back. He's trying to burn down the stage and build something real. And what he's building is unlike anything he's ever done before. Hollywood might have written him off, but Johnny Depp never stopped creating. He just stopped asking for permission. After years in the shadows, he's finally stepping back into the spotlight. But not as the quirky blockbuster lead we remember. He's not returning with a billion-dollar franchise or a Disney redemption arc. He's returning as a filmmaker, a producer, an outsider who no longer wants to play by the old rules. His new film, Maudit, isn't just a movie, it's a statement. Depp's directing it himself, telling the story of Amedeo Modigliani, a painter ignored in his time, ridiculed by critics, and only recognized after death. The symbolism isn't subtle. Like Modigliani, Depp sees himself as misunderstood, exiled, but still driven by a need to create something lasting. And he's not stopping there. He's also starring in Day Drinker, a dark indie thriller with Penelope Cruz and Madeline Klein, far from the family-friendly roles he once took on. These aren't safe choices, they're personal ones, because for Johnny Depp, the comeback isn't about pleasing Hollywood, it's about reclaiming his voice. But what comes next might be the most unpredictable move of all. For decades, Johnny Depp was a legend in motion, a master of transformation, always disappearing into characters while the world watched in awe. But now, he's not hiding behind roles. He's telling his story with raw edges, unfiltered pain, and the kind of honesty that doesn't fit neatly into a redemption arc. The courtroom battles may be over, but his war with Hollywood, and with the culture that cast him out, is far from settled. Some see him as a cautionary tale, others as a victim of a broken system. But one thing is undeniable: he's no longer asking for forgiveness. He's daring people to look closer, not just at him, but at the way we choose heroes, and how fast we're willing to tear them down. Johnny Depp may never be the same icon he once was. And maybe that's the point, because in a world of headlines, hashtags, and hollow apologies, he's trying something far riskier: being real. So what do you think? Is Johnny Depp writing the final chapter of his legacy, or just starting a new one? Let us know in the comments. And if you want the untold stories behind other Hollywood icons, subscribe and we'll take you there.